needs us to take a stand. The world is filled with the spirit of disobedience. The world is filled with hearts that will not yield to God. They come in the church, they sleep, they eat, they chew gum, they talk to one another. They don't pay attention to your preaching because they have this spirit of disobedience. And God said He wants to bring back the word obey into the church. It starts at the head and it works its way back to the back of the church. The missing link is obedience. Obeying from the heart that form of doctrine. Paul had his own doctrine before he met the Lord on the road to Damascus. He says, I was a Pharisee of the Pharisees. Yes. I said under Gamaliel, I was, according to the law, was blameless. I mean, he was perfect in all that he knew. He said, but when the word of God came to him, he obeyed from his heart. He was blinded, and Ananias came and laid hands on him and says, Saul, brother Paul, receive your sight. Yeah. 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 He says, you want to turn men from darkness to light. And Paul spent the rest of his life obeying the voice of God. If you don't get anything else out of the life of Paul, you must grasp that concept. Because when he talks about I was troubled on every side, what was he saying? He says, there were many times I could have gave up. Yo, you guys are complaining. He says, listen, I was in the deep of the water for 3 nights and a day. I was beaten with rods 3 times, 40 times saved, 1 time with mercy. He says, I was beaten from my own countrymen. People I thought was on my side was against me. And besides all of that, I had the troubles and the cares of the church. So imagine how many times Paul wanted to throw in the towel. And the Lord told him, no, you can't throw in the towel. Brother Isaac, I'm a young pastor. And in those 11 years, and you don't even have to confess it, I'll confess it for you. There are many times we think about throwing in the towel. We say, Lord, this don't make no sense. We're serving you with all that was in us. It seems like sometimes all hell is breaking loose and things are going wrong all around us. But believe me, that's all part of the will of God. The bishop was talking the other morning. He said that when a person faints, the Word of God says it, in the time of trouble or trial, that their strength is small. So what does God do? God develops your ability to stand. We stand on the Word of God. But the Word of God is designed to allow us to stand when through the midst of a storm. See, you don't need to stand when the wind's not blowing. It's easy to stand. But he says that if you will take the Word and hide it in your heart, what is he talking about? There we go again. If you will take the Word and be obedient to the Word, then when the storms of life come, because maybe the storms of life are coming. You say, well, we have lots of storms around here all the time. Things aren't really that good in Kenya, or things are not really that good in South. Listen to me. The storms of life is not talking about your external storms. The storms of life are the storms that are raging in your mind. The anger that's raging in your mind. The anger that's raging in your heart. Sometimes we're mad because things just aren't going our way. Sometimes we're mad because someone else has something that we don't have. Sometimes we're resisting God because we're expecting God to do something for us first, and then maybe we'll do something for God then. It's like when we tell our congregation, listen, you can't wait for God to give you money to give. You got to give when you don't have it. Once you learn how to be obedient in the little, then God's going to make you a ruler over much. It runs down the line to the church. We can never, ever throw in the towel. We can never, ever give up. We can never, ever give in. But most importantly, we must obey what God is saying. What is God saying to the church? As I've been here for 2 to 3 days, just observing, in my mind and in my heart, I recognize that there are a lot of people on the streets that, for whatever reason, they're not here. I don't know if it's because we didn't go out and tell them, or because the people's heart is resistant to God. Whatever the case is, I recognize that we have a battle on our hands.
All right.
To fight against the spirit of, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to obey God. I don't want anybody telling me I can't smoke cigarettes. I don't want nobody telling me what to do and what not to do. That is a spirit that has a stronghold in the city. Well, I've been watching it. I don't talk a lot. I pay attention. I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. And as a pastor, that's what we have to do. We have to keep our ears to the ground, and we got to keep our eyes open to what's going on around us. And we need to pray, God, give the people an obedient heart. Give them a will and a desire to want to serve you. Not come in and get something. And we all need, I know we need it badly. We need food, we need money, we need clothes, we need shelter. But that is not what the gospel is about. The gospel is about servanthood. A willingness to obey God, to serve Him. And I'm going to close with this. When Paul got down to the end of his life, he talks to Timothy. He says, Timothy, I have fought a good fight. I have stayed the course. Meaning I have taken my turn in serving God. And it's now time for me to be offered up. Who is going to come behind you to serve God when your time is up? Are we raising up servants? Are we raising up men and women that have the mindset to obey the Lord? Are we helping people be comfortable with sin, telling them it's okay because we don't want to lose one member? Or are we putting our foot down saying, honey, you cannot do that. No, you cannot live like it. No, you cannot drink. No, we don't drink in this church. No, we don't smoke in this church. Yes, you need to speak in tongues. Yes, you need to. We have to put our foot down and declare you must obey. Otherwise, the next generation of preachers will be lost and the church will be lost. There's a missing link. And it's a simple four-letter word. It's called obey. Paul said, I declare unto you what I have received of the Lord, that Jesus obeyed. He had an opportunity to say, I changed my mind. So I received from the Lord that Christ died. What does that mean? He followed through.